Hello and welcome to another episode of Wine Wednesdays, where we wine and then refine our thinking. Today we're going to be whining about why I would be cautious buying skincare and or makeup from very small brands and or Etsy shops. But first, wine. Okay. This bottle is from Six Pack of Gits. She is a Scout and Cellar rep. I will have her linked below to get you this amazing red wine here. This is the Kefico wine. They tell you how to pronounce it on the back, so I appreciate that. It says it's a product of Italy. I don't know how that works because it says it's imported by a California company and bottled in Texas. So apparently it's Italian. It does taste Italian though, however, because it is not very full-bodied. It is on the lighter side. Italian wines I find are a bit more like less dry and full-bodied, a little bit more light. So, you know, this is a good like more one of those starter reds if you're not like wanting the intense red. Maybe this is more for you. So, okay, light. Yeah, see, like lighter, a little bit more on the like, I mean, like still dry, not super sweet, obviously, because Scout and Cellar doesn't add sugar to it. But, so yeah, not super sweet, but definitely still slightly lighter. So pretty smooth. I like this one. So, okay, on to our whining session. Okay, so, it's not as much really whining in this as just like, you know, refining. Sometimes we whine more, sometimes we refine more. Okay, so here we go. A lot of people I know really like supporting smaller brands. Well, here's the whining part. I like being able to support the smaller brands, okay? And what I don't like is knowing more than the small brand who's producing the products. That scares me. I should not know more information about the production process than you who is actually doing it, okay? Good news is that is not typically the case, and a lot more of the companies that I come into contact with, thank goodness, know what they're doing. But there is a good amount that do not. The most by far I have seen have been Etsy shops. I would really strongly caution buying products, skincare and or makeup products from Etsy, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about why, and also if you do choose to buy certain brands, what to look for to know that it is good, okay? All right. So anyway, continuing. It's annoying because you want to support the smaller brands, and I like that they're not owned by a big company. I don't like supporting the brands that are all owned by Unilever and P&G. It's like, I don't want to put more money in their pockets. I like the smaller brands. It's another reason why I like doing, you know, more so MLMs, the multi-level marketings. I like supporting your friends, you know? I like the smaller companies that are family owned. I love that. It's harder in this economy, I know, in a lot of ways for that to take off the ground. You know, it's harder, and it's a lot more overhead, and there's just a lot of challenges that come with that. I really like supporting those though. So it's hard because you want to support the friend, you want to support the smaller, you know, brand, the mom on Etsy that's selling it and it's kind of taken off. Good for you. That's wonderful. But a lot of times, here's the refining part, things you should know with the products you're buying off of Etsy and or a small brand. Let me clarify. This is not really talking about like, oh yeah, my friend down the street just did this. She just made this little like, you know, face oil, and you know, she bought the little ingredients and she just gave me a bottle of it kind of a thing. But she's not like selling it, you know. That's a bit more controlled. That's like really small. I'm not really talking about that level. I'm talking more about like you're selling it off of Etsy. You have made your own website. Like you're trying to make it a business, you know, you're trying to be like meet all the standards and stuff. And like, you know, and you're selling it. It's more about that. Okay. So that's more. And then also the slightly bigger too of like, it is an established company and it is still small, but like I feel like it still falls into that category of being like a smaller indie brand, okay? So the problems here that you need to know. Number one, a lot of them don't know what they're doing, okay, when it comes to product formulation. And it's scary, okay? When you actually start talking to the store owners and, you know, whatever, producers of these products, it's honestly scared me. I'm gonna prove to you a couple of the conversations that I've had, okay, of some scary things that I have heard various, because I've reached out to a lot, Etsy shop owners and or smaller brand store owners, even if they have like a lot of products, you know, this is some of the things I've heard, okay? Number one, I've heard, what's a COA? Never heard of that. Don't know what a COA is. COA is a certificate of analysis. That is what a third party group is going to give you to prove the safety of microbial and or heavy metal contamination and such in your products. I've heard a store owner say, we don't do heavy metal testing on our products because we don't need to, because they don't contain heavy metals, because our ingredients are only natural and clean. Scary. That's not how that works. Heavy metal is not an ingredient. It is a contamination. You don't know if you have it unless you are working very closely with your manufacturer and or supplier and knowing where you're getting your products from and or getting it tested. Also, it's required to be tested to be compliant because products are required to be safe, and that is included in that. Okay. When asking about preservation, this is so bad. I asked, I said, I see that you have water and aloe as your, like first two main ingredients, and then you have a couple other ingredients that you don't have any kind of, preservation system that I can see in this, preservative. So have you done challenge testing? Didn't know what challenge testing was. That was one. That was a different one. This one said aloe is its own natural preservative. No. No, it is not. That is like, oh dear God, you know nothing and people are buying from you. This is so bad. Like, you're telling me right now, it is 101. 101. Basic. If you have water or aloe in a product, that product needs broad spectrum preservation, whether that is through a broad spectrum synthetic preservative, a natural herder system, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of different ways to go about that. The pH of the different ingredients working together to make it inhospitable for bacteria growth. You need a preservative or a preservation system. Okay? Trying to say that aloe is its own preservation in of itself is like, no, I can't. That's the worst. I think that's the worst I've heard. You have no idea what you're doing. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is what people are saying though, when you actually start talking about it, and they don't know. Okay. Other ones have not known what kind of testing you're supposed to be doing and what challenge testing is included in that. In this same case, I shared the formula, with two different, formulation, scientists and or just like cosmetic formulators to see their perspective. One said, yeah, oh my gosh, this would never pass a microbial challenge test, like stay far away. The other said there probably was problems with the claims of the SPF that they were claiming, and that there were tests that need to be in order to be FDA compliant, like there's testings that need to be done because it technically is regulated under, it would be considered drug SPF. Like your sunscreen is going to be under that drug category. There is specific testings that's required for that. And there needs to be some sort of information on the label that shows that. And yeah, she was saying like, because of the water and aloe being the first ingredients, that she was suspecting there would be an issue with the SPF claims that they had because it would be too watery. So different things like that. It's like you assume that when you're buying the products from these people, you think that they know what they're doing, but they do not. Okay, they do not. Another one I've heard too is like when asking about different preservatives. That's a lot. That's one that I hear a lot. Just that, oh, we believe preservatives are bad and our products are all natural. Ooh, another one. They were claiming that all of their products or all of their ingredients they use are only natural and naturally derived, and that there's nothing synthetic. And I asked them if they were FDA compliant and if they meet EU standards. And in order to be FDA compliant, your iron oxides, which create color. I asked if their iron oxides were synthetically derived because in order to be FDA compliant, they have to be synthetically derived and created in a lab. So I was like, which one is it? Are you not then 100% all natural and you do have something synthetic? Or are you FDA compliant? It's one of the two. You cannot be both. You cannot say your iron oxides are naturally derived. Not a thing. Like, you can't be both of those things. Okay, so that was a discrepancy. Asking people if they're FDA compliant and or meet EU regulations. A lot of people just take that to mean, like, I always kind of get a feel for how much research they've done on regulations when a store or when a company will respond with, well, all of our ingredients are good, so of course we meet those regulations, because they think that it only applies to ingredients. that's definitely false. The FDA is a lot more gray area, but like there are a lot of things in place for processes and stuff like that too, of like what that's supposed to entail. Way more than just ingredients. I'll probably do a separate video on that. It's a big misconception people have. So those are all different things that I've heard, and it's just like, oh no, like you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not doing the correct testings. It's really bad. So this is why I typically am a little bit more distrusting of smaller brands, and I would be much more cautious. So the refining aspect, I just feel like I need to take a sip in between that, you know? Okay, breathe. Refining aspect, if you are going to, because I think it is good to support smaller brands, here's what you need to be looking out for. Number one, because smaller companies do not have the same budget as bigger companies, they probably don't have the ability to do their own safety testings, third-party safety testings on their products. Sometimes they do, which is awesome. If they do not, you want to look for and ask for the people who are, you know, in charge, the owners. You want to make sure that they have a good relationship with their manufacturers and suppliers, and that they are making sure that their manufacturers are doing the testings that they need to be doing for heavy metal contamination, any other type of contamination, bacterial contamination, challenge testing, that kind of a thing. You want to make sure that they know that their manufacturer is not skipping any steps and that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And even a step further, you want to make sure that those manufacturers are supplying them with the COAs proving that. There are a lot of manufacturers that will say they're doing what they're doing, and you know that it's meeting all, you know, what they're supposed to be doing and to ensure that their product is safe that they're giving them. But a lot of times they're not transparent even with the company to be giving them the COAs to prove that. So you want to ask the store owner if they've personally received the COAs and seen them for the suppliers that they are getting that from. So that's a way around it, where if they don't have the money to do it themselves another time, bigger brands will do that. Smaller, if they're at least seeing those COAs from the manufacturers and suppliers that they're getting their ingredients from, where they're sourcing from, that is good. And that's still like a way that you can support them, you know, in doing that. Another thing is you want to, if at all possible, it would be great if they are consulting with some sort of product formulator, or just someone who knows what they're doing and has gone to school for this or something. It gets a little bit tricky when they're creating makeup, especially just because that has a much more like skincare too, though. I don't know, really both. It just gets really dicey with this. There's certain products that are harder than others to do. You know, face oil is like easier than, you know, like an eyeshadow or something. But like getting a handle on how much research they've done themselves in their due diligence of what they need to know, what it looks like when you combine different ingredients together and things interact with each other different ways, and just them consulting with or you know, just working with someone who knows what they're doing when they're formulating a product is really huge, because that's going to ensure that they're you know, you don't know what you don't know, right? So that's going to ensure that they have a little bit of a checks and balance system with that. So yeah, okay. Those are basically it. You know, those are my like two big things that I would really look for. A lot of times the smaller brands swing the opposite side of really just caring about only the ingredients, because that's, and I'm against just reading the ingredients label, guys. So I don't like to hear that from the people who are creating the products, that that's all they're caring about, because there is so much more involved. So when you hear that they recognize that it's so much more about just the mere ingredients they're putting in, and that there's so many other factors, those are the ones you want to support, guys. So if you have some smaller indie brands that you like, and you know, who you feel like pass those standards, I'd love to hear who those are. So comment below with those. And if you have any questions, or if I left something out, let me know. Thanks for joining us for our Wine Wednesday today. This has been a nice lightish, nice, lesser full-bodied wine, words, and yeah,